Hello and good day. In this video, I will be discussing about the life and works of Jose Rizal. Topics include his birth and family origin, his education, travels, actions against Spaniards, his trials, and finally his death. Jose Protasio Rizal Mercado y Alonso Realonda was born on June 19, 1861 in Calamba, Laguna. He was born to a loving father and mother named Francisco Mercado II and Teodora Alonso Realonda. He came from a family of 13 members, consisting of his parents, 9 sisters, and 1 brother. He is the 7th child in his family. The Rizals were considered one of the biggest families during their time. Domingo Lamco, the family's paternal ascendant, was a full-blooded Chinese who came to the Philippines from Amoy, China, in the closing years of the 17th century and married a Chinese half-breed by the name of Ignace de la Rosa. Researchers revealed that the Mercado Rizal family also had traces of Japanese, Spanish, Malay, and even Negrito blood, aside from Chinese. During the early years of his life, Jose Rizal received his informal education from his mother, as well as from other private tutors. At the young age of 5, while learning to read and write, Jose Rizal showed inclinations to be an artist. He astounded his family and relatives by his moldings of clay, his pencil drawings, and sketches. By the age of 8, he wrote the Tagalog poem named Sa Aking Kabata, the theme of which revolves on the love of one's language. In 1870, he received his formal education in Bianan, Laguna. Later on in his life, at the age of 16, and at that very young age of his, he obtained his bachelor's degree in arts from the Ateneo Municipal de Manila University, and was one of the 9 students from his class to graduate as sobresaliente, or excellent. In the same year, he enrolled in philosophy and letters at the University of Santo Tomas, while at the same time took courses leading to the degree of surveyor and expert assessor at the Ateneo. He finished the latter course on March 21, 1877, and passed the surveyor's examination on May 21, 1878. But because of his age, 17, he was not granted a license to practice the profession until December 30, 1881. After a year in philosophy and letters, he decided to shift to medicine, specializing in ophthalmology, when he found out that his mother was going blind. Now, at the University of Santo Tomas, Rizal was unhappy at this Dominican institution of higher learning because of 3 reasons. Number 1, the Dominican professors were hostile to him. Number 2, the Filipino students were radically discriminated against by the Spaniards. And number 3, the method of instruction was obsolete and repressive. Jose Rizal was quite a traveler himself. Subsequently, after finishing the 4th year of his medical course, Jose Rizal decided to study in Spain. He could no longer endure the rampant bigotry, discrimination, and the hostility in the University of Santo Tomas. On May 3, 1882, he sailed for Spain, where he continued his studies at the Universidad Central de Madrid. On June 21, 1884, at the age of 23, he was conferred the degree of Licentiate in Medicine, and on June 19, 1885, at the age of 24, he finished his course in philosophy and letters with the grade of excellent. In the hope of securing political and social reforms for his country, and at the same time educate his countrymen, Rizal, the greatest apostle of Filipino nationalism, published while in Europe several works with highly nationalistic and revolutionary tendencies. In March 1887, his daring book, Noli Me Tangere, Asar. In 1890, he reprinted in Paris Morga's Sucesos de las Islas Filipinas with his annotations to prove that the Filipinos had a civilization worthy to be proud of, even long before the Spaniards set foot on Philippine soil. On September 18, 1991, El Filibusterismo, his second novel and a sequel to the Noli, and more revolutionary and tragic than the latter, was printed in Ghent. Because of his fearless exposures of the injustices committed by the civil and clerical officers, Rizal provoked the animosity of those in power. This led himself, his relatives, and countrymen into trouble with the Spanish officials of the country. As a consequence, he and those who had contracts with him were shadowed. The authorities were not only finding faults but even fabricating charges to pin him down. Thus, he was imprisoned in Fort Santiago from July 6, 1892 to July 15, 1892, on a charge that anti-Friar pamphlets were found in the luggage of his sister Lucia, who arrived with him from Hong Kong. While a political exile in Dapitan, he engaged in agriculture, fishing, and business. He maintained and operated a hospital. He conducted classes, taught his pupils the English and Spanish languages, the arts, the science, vocational courses including agriculture, surveying, sculpturing, and painting, as well as the art of self-defense. He did some researches and collected specimens. He entered into correspondence with renowned men of letters and sciences abroad, and with the help of his pupils, he contracted water dam and a relief map of Mindanao, both considered remarkable engineering feats. His sincerity and friendliness won for him the trust and confidence of even those assigned to guard him. His good manners and warm personality were found irresistible by women of all races with whom he had personal contracts. His intelligence and humility gained for him the respect and admiration of prominent men of other nations, while his undaunted courage and determination to uplift the welfare of his people were feared by his enemies. While the Philippine Revolution started on August 26, 1896, his enemies lost no time in pressing him down. They were able to enlist witnesses that linked him with the revolt, and these were never allowed to be confronted by him. Thus, from November 3, 1986, to the date of his execution, he was again committed to Fort Santiago. In his prison cell, he wrote an untitled poem, now known as Ultimo Adios, which is considered a masterpiece and a living document expressing not only the hero's great love of country, but also that of all Filipinos. After a mock trial, he was convicted of rebellion, sedition, and of forming illegal association. In the cold morning of December 30, 1896, Rizal, a man whose 35 years of life had been packed with varied activities which proved that the Filipino has capacity to equal, if not excel, even those who treat him as a slave, was shot in the Bagumbayan field. Although his tragic death was inevitable, Jose Rizal's legacy still lives on. Because of him and his bravery and boldness to confront the face of unruly power, he brought freedom to the lives of millions of people. Our people. The Philippines will forever be in your debt. Jose Rizal.